Hey YouTube, here going to talk about things going on in the world around us live again, because I'm trying to save memory on my phone. Time for a new phone. I can't even update my apps. I'm out of memory here. But Thor Ragnarok spoiler review. It's the second time I tried to go live because the first time my window was too small to finish it, so I deleted the video and came back. I actually watched this a week ago, and I've just been kind of taking it all in, really concocting my opinion on it. First and foremost, initial impressions. I was a little disappointed. The trailers were too good. It was a fantastic movie, but it was not without flaw. It deserves the money it's making now, absolutely. It's a fantastic time. It's a great experience. Comedy is amazing. The timing is awesome. The characters in the movie have great chemistry. But there are flaws in it which kind of hinder its excellence. So I'll give it to you all this way. I'll give you first what was good about it. What was great about it, what I loved about it. Next, I'll give it to you what I didn't like about it, what could use a lot of improvement. And lastly, I'll give you how it ties into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. First, what I loved. As I mentioned, the cast had great chemistry. Chris Hemsworth was very funny. He was definitely showing his worthiness of being in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. His comedic timing was excellent. His improv was very strong. And Taika Waititi, the director, mentioned that there's about 80% of the movie was improv, and it was pretty seamless at that. There were a couple times when it's like, oh, okay, let's pull it back a bit, put the script back in and try and get us going somewhere, but overall, the improv was very funny. I really enjoy, spoiler territory, I really enjoy how they subverted the whole trilogy of Thor and sidestepped it. It says, okay, we're not doing this anymore, we're now doing this stuff. We're not doing your Kenneth Branagh world-built Lord of the Rings type movie that we did in 2011. We're doing something completely different, and I'm okay with that. I really enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy, and I like how weird the space stuff is in it. And when we went to Sakaar in the movie, it was a lot more of that, and I enjoyed it. I didn't mind. I'm like, okay, we're here now. It's a new movie. This is a new story. I'm embracing it. Let's do it. And Jeff Goldblum's character, the Grand Master, perfectly exemplified just the weirdness of the whole movie, and he had some fantastic improvised lines in the movie, which really made it savory. And the score was awesome. The music in it was great. Literally playing Immigrant Song. Here's a big major spoiler. If you listen to the lyrics of Immigrant Song, it's basically Thor Ragnarok. I don't know if Robert Plant and Jimmy Page went through Norse mythology when they were writing this song, but they literally found the story point for point of this movie and put it in a song, and that's why Immigrant Song is an amazing choice for this movie. Well, okay, let me get into what I didn't like. If you're just tuning in now, sorry, this is stuff I don't like, and this is a very popular opinion, but it's one that needs to be shared, needs to be said, needs to be heard. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is taking a major risk with this movie. Basically saying, okay, we're not going to be as caring and serious with the world we've built, and kind of gloss over certain moments, and Like, we don't care about the development we've done so far. We're just gonna show you we can make funny movies with a lot of special effects, and these characters we spent developing, we know they don't quite matter. That can be forgiven when you have characters like Jane Foster, who would have never really fit with Thor, because Thor is basically immortal, and Jane Foster is human, so they couldn't have been in a relationship. So it's okay that, spoiler alert, in the movie that she never shows up, and it's just like, well, they broke up. Okay. But regarding that, it's also okay because she was never popular as a character to begin with. But the glossing over, I would not be okay with regarding what happened to Odin. Spoiler territory again. Thor 2 ends with Loki at the throne, so you're wondering, okay, where did Odin go? They explain that and alleviate all of those plot points within like 2 minutes in a very funny way, which I refuse to ruin for you because it's awesome. It's very funny. But then you get to Odin, who for the for the entire existence of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, well, actually no, since 2011, so the majority of the existence of the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been the most important character to remain living, because it was said in Thor, if Odin died, the life force tree will wither and things will not exist anymore in certain universes. And in this movie, Odin, spoiler alert, dies in like 1 minute, and it's like, okay, it's my time to die, okay, bye. And then 30 seconds from then, with having both Thor and Loki having no grief whatsoever, Hela shows up. And Hela's like, okay, now that Odin's dead, I can be here and I can start wrecking shit. Bow to me. And then I'm going to break Thor's hammer. This time in the grass instead of in the city. Taika Waititi explained that it's because they wanted Odin's death to be... Or Odin not... So the original script was Odin was going to be a homeless person in New York, and that's why they were in the alleyway. And then they changed it to Odin being in, what was it, Norway or somewhere, and he decides to go peacefully. I support that, but let's not, like, flip the script on everyone with one of the most important things in the movie is Thor's hammer being destroyed. But that's okay. Another moment, too, is Hela just kills all the Warriors 3, and they don't have lines in the movie other than the guy with the mace, who his only line was like, "You will never rule Asgard," and then she kills him on top of the rest of the Asgardian army, and no one really cares. And then you have the next trope of endless waves of mindless soldiers, which our heroes have to battle through, which I am so tired of. The movie really could have done without them. But aside from that, so like the Odin dying uneventfully and Hela's army being mindless drones, there is actually an awesome twist at the end, which makes sense and is I'm so okay with. And how they defeat Hela is awesome, because it literally it's like in front of you the whole time, and then it's like, oh, surprise, remember this thing we've been talking about this whole time? Yeah, that may have just spoiled the whole movie for you if you haven't seen it yet. But you need to go watch Thor Ragnarok, because I guarantee you it's a good time. If you watch this review so far and you've heard my gripes, now you know what you're getting into. Literally, Taika Waititi says, forget the universe that has been built for you. We're on to this new thing now. And it's kind of a setup, I think, for Infinity War. So that transitions me into talking about Avengers Infinity War. Avengers 3. Some call Avengers 4 because of Civil War, but it's actually Avengers 3, Part 1 and Part 2. Infinity War, which is basically going to be the Infinity Gauntlet, or everything that encompassed it in the 80s and 90s with Thanos. It's like the Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity War. I forget what the other ones are. But this is like Marvel's biggest event they've ever had, and Thanos in the comics killed half of the Marvel Cinematic Universe with a hands aren't wet enough. Yeah, there it is. With half of the universe with a snap of his fingers. And that's how powerful the Infinity Gauntlet is. I don't know if it's gonna be that powerful in the movies, but we've been teasing it forever. You know that these little gems, like what's in Vision's head, are scattered throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you know where some are. I'll put that on pause for a second. Loki grabs one towards the end of Thor Ragnarok. It's not shown that he grabs it, but we're fairly certain he grabs it based off of the leaked trailer of Avengers Infinity War. So it transitions me perfectly into how the end of this movie relates to the beginning of that movie, or at least the beginning of that trailer from D23 that was leaked. Spoiler alert, at the end of Thor Ragnarok, if you haven't seen it, please stop now. It is not worth it. But in the end of Thor Ragnarok, I've paused enough as to where you can pause it and go somewhere else. At the end of Thor Ragnarok, Asgard is completely destroyed by Surta in order for Thor to defeat Hela. So the end of Thor Ragnarok is everyone in Asgard who's left surviving, and some of the Planet Hulk characters escape on a ship. And in the post-credit scene, they're in the ship, like, okay, yay, Thor, our new king of Asgard. This is Asgard. Where we go now? And I think Thor is saying go to Earth or something. And then this gigantic ship, which is bigger than Asgard, shows up. And everyone's like, holy shit, what is that? That is probably Thanos' ship, or those in the Black Order who work for Thanos, there to get the Infinity Gems or Infinity Stones, which are the Marvel Cinematic Universe calls them, that are on the ship with Thor. There's two, well, one we know about that Loki has, and another theory is that the last remaining missing gem is with Heimdall, and that's how he's able to see anywhere in the universe with this gem that we don't know about. So Thor 3 perfectly transitioned us into Avengers Infinity War. I believe before Avengers 3, we have one more movie, which is Black Panther, which looks excellent. If you haven't seen the trailers, please watch them. They're a good time. Okay, closing thoughts. Marvel is doing its damnedest to keep itself fresh. It's introducing new characters and reinventing other characters. Thor was absolutely reinvented here. He's no longer, as Tony Stark called him, Point Break with a hammer. He now no longer has a hammer and has other powers which he was not aware of before Thor 3. As we also saw in Thor Ragnarok, spoiler alert if you haven't, the whole movie's ruined by now if you haven't seen it, if you made it this far. But Doctor Strange is also fully realized as a sorcerer. He has Eye of Agamotto on him, and he has the gloves that you saw in the trailer and now see in the movie. To talk about Infinity War for a second, there will be major changes in the storyline. Kevin Feige says this, like what we were all talking about in 2012, is the biggest thing that ever happened to superhero movies, is all those characters coming together. This, 6 years later, is now the biggest thing that ever happened to superhero movies again, except now it's, instead of this celebration of the characters coming better, there's going to be major changes that really, if all these people are talking about how Marvel can't kill people, okay, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Yondu. I know Fox is a separate thing, but old Logan, comic book, the last Wolverine story, Wolverine, yeah, that wasn't fear of killing characters. And then Quicksilver, which is hardly a death. But basically, Marvel is not afraid to let contracts end. I will just say that. And if you didn't learn anything from Thor Ragnarok, a lot of people die in Thor Ragnarok. And some people are still missing, like Sif, which I didn't mention. Sorry about that. Any DC fanboy crap-talking Marvel about how they can't kill characters, just watch Thor Ragnarok, and that'll tell you otherwise. If anything, DC, you guys are trying to pretend you killed Superman. Does that really happen, or is he going to show up at the end of... Anyway, that's a whole nother franchise. I don't know if I'll be watching that opening weekend, but that's it for me, guys. I know I do movie reviews because I enjoy movies. I like to talk about it. I'm cinema and production major. I work in television. I love entertainment mediums, so I know it's a little change of pace from my normal talking about things going on in the world around us. But, if you watch this much, thanks for listening to me again. And more reviews come out. Yeah, I'll send you a Justice League review as well if I'm not really excited about it, but I'll have to see it. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.